an episode of Tales from the Midnight Diary. My name is Gemma and I'm coming to you from my home in Kent. I'm going to take these off because I've realised there's terrible glare, where I live with my husband, my 2 cats, my dog and my son. There's so much to talk to you about this week. If you're a new viewer, welcome. I am the dye designer, maker, tutor behind the Midnight Diary, which is an indie dyed yarn company. And I also run a local yarn shop in Faversham in Kent as well, called the Yarn Dispensary. So you'll probably hear me talking a bit about that as well. This podcast is a video record, I guess, of what I make, the things that go well, the things that go wrong, the lessons I learn, and also, as the title suggests, tales from behind the scenes at the Dyery. I have some news about the Dyery this week, so we'll come to that later. So here we are. It's the 26th of January, so a little bit later than I'd hoped to come to you. I am tired. I am in pain. I cannot find my makeup, so apologies for this. But I am so excited to talk to you and to get 2023's videos off to a start because I have big plans. So, first of all, admin. We are going to have a make-along. We are kicking off our first make-along for 2023, and it comes up every so often, but I've been thinking a lot about it, especially hunting for projects for customers, which I do as part of the day job. Quite often it's nice, if you are a Ravelry user, for example, to be able to see what other people have made in that same project. And it's the same thing with all the make-alongs and hashtags for designers on Instagram. If you follow the hashtag, you can see what other people's projects look like, and that can help you to make your decision. But then what about those who don't have that many, who are maybe breaking out into the design world? They may have some absolutely fantastic designs, but it's blink and you miss it. Oh, hiccups. So what I would like to do is to celebrate those people who are designing and have a go at their patterns. So it's I haven't come up with a full moniker for this yet, but the idea is that if you are a Ravelry user, the pattern you choose ideally should have 23 or fewer projects already made. 23, I'll come to it in a bit why, but there is a reason, as well as the fact it's 2023. And the same on Instagram. That hashtag for that particular pattern should have 23 or fewer projects. I think that was probably a little bit harder to do because some people put multiple posts per project, but I have faith in you and your abilities. So the reason I've gone for 23 is because I have a fair few designer friends, and quite often they have up to 20 test knitters or crocheters. So if you say 23, it's wonderfully specific. I love an arbitrary number, and it also matches the fact it's 2023, and it means we should get past the testing poll. So those ones that have had lots and lots of testers but not actually many other projects won't miss out by this. You can choose what weight, what designer, what craft, what type of project. It's entirely up to you. Knitting, crochet, Tunisian crochet. Those are the things we're going with today, this time. It kicks off on the 2nd of March 2023 because 2nd of March 2323. And I may even call it something as simple as that, the 2323 MCAL. We'll see. And I'm not sure when the end date's going to be, but the cast on date is going to be the 2nd of March. So you have time to find your patterns and make. How have you been? I hope your start to 2023 is going well. It's been a bit interesting here at the Midnight Diary. I'm just snatching a few minutes while Robin's having his nap. And yeah, so it's been a busy start. I was meant to go away to stay with my friend Jude at the very start of the year. I got part way and had to come home because I got sick. I'll share a bit more about that later if you're interested. And so then I was ill for most of my annual leave, and all my grand plans for all the knitting I was going to do and all the crochet I was going to do just basically did not happen. As you can hear, I'm quite bunged up and a bit throaty. I've just about got over the illness I had at the start of the year, and I have now come down with a chest infection, which resulted in an ambulance trip to A&E on Tuesday night. This is now Thursday, and apparently I have something called pleurisy, so I'm in a lot of pain. I'm on the good antibiotics, I'm on the good painkillers. Well, I'm on over-the-counter painkillers, but they're helping. Yeah, and so here I am, Hot Mess Express. So it's been an interesting start to the year. What's really weird is that I've been finishing things. Now, if you are a long-standing viewer of the podcast, you'll know that I am the woman of many whips. I'm great at starting, not so great at finishing, and I'm a woman of grand plans. But I did kind of a whip audit at the end of the year and realised I was taking, as I thought, 12 projects into 2023 with me. Turns out it's 14. I think it may even be 15, but anyway. And I thought, right, well, I want to get some things finished. I had really enjoyed finishing things in the last week or two of December. I'd kind of got the finishing kick. I chucked so many projects off the needles in the last few weeks of the year. Lots of hats, and I finished 39 things. So I want to finish some more things this year. And so I looked at this list and I thought, well, what I'll do is I will cast off 2 before I cast on 1. So 2 out, 1 in. That way it should keep reducing, but I still get to cast on. So I finished the first project, which was my son's socks, and I thought, right, okay, on to the next one. And I finished my second project, which were penny gloves. If you've watched Vlogmas, you'll know I've suddenly fallen deeply, irrevocably in love with penny gloves, and I'm making them for everyone. So I finished a pair for my friend who I work with, and I've got 4 more pairs to do, but it's fine. And then I thought, great, I've cast off 2 things. Apologies if you can hear that, my tummy is rumbling, sorry. So I thought, great, I've cast off 2 things, I can cast on 1 more. No, I don't know why, but I just didn't cast on. I couldn't bring myself to cast on. So instead, I worked on finishing something else, and last night I achieved it. And I didn't want to podcast until I'd finished it because I was so close. So what am I talking about? Come on, Gemmy, saying, well, let's get on with it and show you. Well, I've only got photographs of the robin socks and the penny gloves, but I'll talk about those first. So the robin socks are called the robin socks, not just because they're for my son Robin, but because they are using West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply in the Robin colourway, which is a festive colourway. So they retail now at £8.95 a ball because cost of production's gone up so much, but you get quite a lot of bang for your buck, quite a lot of yardage, meterage for your pennies. And so I made Alan a pair, which I finished on Christmas Eve to give to him. Or I finished them on Christmas Day, I can't quite remember. Either way, he got a pair of socks for Christmas, and I had enough left over to make Robin a pair of matching Robin socks, because he's grown out of the last pair that he had that matched his daddy's. So yesterday, finally, I got pictures of them together with their socks, and they're just so sweet. For Robin's socks, I've been working on a formula for baby socks because the proportions aren't the same as with an adult's foot. So I've found that the sweet spot for Robin is to have a 48 stitch cast on. 44 is just a little too tight. But then for them to fit and stay on his feet, he needs a bigger heel flap than he would usually have. Usually with the heel flap, you tend to do the same number of rows as you have stitches on that half of your sock. So if you're knitting a 64 stitch sock, you would be working just on 32 stitches for the heel flap, and you would work 32 rows. So that's not, so I've worked out you need a little bit more to account for the high instep, but then their feet aren't terribly long. So I'm now working out the gusset decreases, the optimum gusset decreases to fit. And I think it's going to be a case of a formula with gauge. So I'm going to try and do a bit more experimenting because there are going to be lots more socks in baby Robin's future, and if I can get to the bottom of it and refine it, then I will try and publish that. Can't promise you when, but that's what I'm working on in the background, along with some other pattern releases that I'm quite excited about that I'll talk to you about next time. So that was finished object number 1. Finished object number 2 were the penny gloves. Now I did whip these up fairly quickly. I know we're sat here on the 21st of or 26th of January, but my actual knitting time has been quite restricted. Being poorly, I just didn't want to knit at all, even though I just had nothing to do but knit really. Had perfect opportunity but wasn't well enough. And with Robin now finding his feet and toddling around, I do get some knitting time in the evenings, but when I was ill I was just going straight to bed when Robin did. And yeah, there's other things that need doing. Anyway, finished this pair of penny gloves. They are exactly the same as the second pair I made. They are made with undyed yarn that was left over from my advent calendar dyeing, and I've held it double with the little grey girl silk mohair. Unfortunately, this colour isn't going to be a regular colourway for Gem. That's why she gave it to me. So I loved using it. The thing is with Gem, when she doesn't select a colourway to be a repeatable, it's always part of the journey to finding just the right colour. So I can't remember what she replaced it with, but I know all her colours are perfect. So yeah, and I gifted them to my friend Helen via another friend, and yeah, she really liked them. So I kind of want a pair for myself next, but I do have I do have a pair to do for Helen's son that and I've got the yarn for it, so I should really do those first. I didn't immediately cast on more penny gloves or another pair of socks for Robin, because I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I've had holes poked in my fingers quite badly because I was knitting so furiously on the penny socks, and they have calloused over now, but I don't think it would take much to open them, and I work on a 2.5mm needle for both socks and for the penny gloves. And actually I always use the Symphony, which are the wooden ones from Knit Pro. I have a terrible habit of standing on them and snapping them, so it does make it quite an expensive hobby. But for some reason at work, when I was doing a sock class at the day job, I picked up a pair of Zings. I love using them. I really love using them. See, I've never used anything other than Symphonies for socks because that's what I was taught to knit socks on. It wasn't that Symphonies are better. It wasn't that, you know, there was no reasoning behind it other than the person who wrote the pattern I started with used it and then said, and so that's what I used. Done. And I've always used since. So the advantage of these is they don't snap. The disadvantage is if you're knitting furiously and poking the knitting needle with your fingers. I don't know if I can get any B-roll in, but I shall try. Then you do poke holes in your fingers. That's why I can't use higher sharp. Some people absolutely rave about them, and I think they're brilliant, and the idea of how fast and smooth it would be for doing socks or lace, brilliant. But honestly, the moment I touched them, I was yelping. I was like yelping with every stitch to be like, oh, 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 which would be a bit weird. I think that would actually be more irritating than the clicky clack of the needles that some people find a bit grating. So I didn't cast those on straight away. And then I was tempted to cast on something and I didn't. Instead, I pulled out another work in progress. Now, this isn't a very long work in progress, and I'm wearing it. You've noticed it. Did you notice it? Did you notice I was wearing something woolly that I made my own self? Whew. Again, I very rarely complete garments, and certainly very rarely complete them for me. And if I complete them for me, I inevitably don't wear them, and it's a whole thing. So I cast this on because of Vlogmas. I was starting to watch Vlogmases, and was it a Vlogmas or was it a podcast episode? Penrose Knits, anyway, beautiful vlogs and podcasts, wonderful cinematography going on. I really want to up my game, and actually Vlogmas, segue, tangent, off we go. If you're new here, we do this. Keep up, you're good. I had so much fun editing and using the B-roll and just putting everything together that I really want to do more of that here. If there are lots of jump cuts while I'm talking, it's because I'm having to stop to cough and it hurts. And also you don't want to hear me coughing because that's super gross. Anyway, she'd made the holiday slipover by Petite Knit, and I was making hats for the Love Local event at work, and I happened to be making one where I was holding these two yarns double. So here are my ends that I have not woven. Well, no, I've woven them in, but I can't find my scissors, so I can't chop them off. So I was holding 2 strands of West Yorkshire Spinners The Perfect Retreat yarn together. So you've got the Pure, which is the cream colourway, and this I believe is Quiet, or it could be Peace. But they've all got very sort of soothing, relaxing, mindfulness names. So I was knitting a hat in that, and she was describing the yarn, and it was it 2 Arons held together with a mohair, and I'm sort of looking at these 2 chunky yarns I'm holding, and it's like, but this might work. And having cast off the hat, I immediately cast this on, and I did most of the front panel. You do part of the front, and then pick up and do part of the back, and then I'm not going to give the pattern away, but it's a really interesting construction. You basically construct it from the shoulder, and I really enjoyed it, and I got it done so quickly. I put it aside for Christmas makes and gift makes and other obligations, and obviously a lot of my time is used editing the vlogs. I so enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed them. So I did that, and yeah, then I picked it up again, and in the last week or so I have almost finished it. I learned the Italian tubular bind off, and I will put a tutorial there. It took me way too long to realise that it is basically Kitchener stitch, and by the time I realised that I could say knit off purl, purl off knit, I'd already done both the bottom bands, but it did mean that the arms and the neck were much faster to do. Now this is interesting, I don't particularly like high neck things on me, but this isn't itchy, and I don't think it looks too bad. I was a little bit worried when I made this I was going to look like the love child between a latte and a marshmallow, and you could say I do, but hey, is that a bad thing? Who doesn't like marshmallows and lattes? So anyway, I love it. I finished it last night at Sip and Stitch on Zoom, which I host every, I don't host every week. My friends have been hosting for me for like the last year or so because I've been absent, but I'm returning to, and yeah, which is on every Wednesday, and I absolutely love it. So forgive the ends, but I'm going to try and give you some shots of it. So it is West Yorkshire Spinners Retreat roving yarn, which is chunky, the chunky version. They've just brought out super chunky, which is held double, and it's gorgeous and I love it. In Pure, and I want to say Quiet, it's kind of a toffee latte kind of colour, and the pattern is the Holiday Slipover by Petite Knit, and I adore it. Let me see if I can get you some footage. Now this is a little bit tricky because I can't actually see what you can see very clearly. Well, I can put my glasses back on because you're not going to be looking at glare. As you see, ends fashionably hanging out, but I wanted one that I could wear over my kind of mum uniform that I'm wearing these days of leggings, and the split hem was perfect for that. So I just went ahead and made the back ribbing even longer so it covered my bootay, and I'm really pleased with it. It's got kind of really big armholes. The idea is it is just a slip over piece. You put it over whatever else you're wearing. Isn't it cute? I love it. Let me see if I can, maybe if I put you up there, you're going to please don't topple over, and aim you down a little, and if I step back like that, aha, there we go, see it in all its glory. What do you think? Isn't it cute? I really like it. And who am I? Since when did I use words like cute? But I feel like it is. I love the marl. I don't think it looks too boxy on me, and it's just great. It's a great cozy layer, because the other thing is, if you are dashing around and you might want to sling a coat on, you want to put massive great sleeves in your coat. Yeah, but this is just the perfect, it's perfect, and I love the fact it covers my butt, and I can wear leggings in it, and it's just a sling on, be comfy and cozy. I'm kind of getting to grips with my wardrobe now and what I want in it, and I think my absolute favourite sweater is a V-neck It's grey, it's from Matalan, it's about 100 years old. No, I got it in 2017 actually, so 7 years old, but I wear it to death, and it's got a split hem, perfectly plain, deepish V, long, boxy. I adore it, and I throw it on all the time. It's what I reach for. So why don't I make them? And actually, I think it's Dyery is calling for testers for her V-neck Dartmoor. Oh gosh, I wish I could get on that test list. It's not going to happen, not in a million years, but I'll have to wait for the pattern to come out. But look at that, I love the marling. And this is it, a full outfit, done. Comfortable leggings, covers my bum, just about. I mean, it could do with a block, but I just want to wear it, to be honest. I just want to wear it. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled with this. The Italian bind off is so nice. Can you see? It just looks like knitting. Isn't that clever? It was a faff, but it's so worth it because it's such a neat finish. And it's stretchy, because I was also slightly worried I wouldn't get it. I was also slightly worried I wouldn't get it over my head. I do have to take my glasses off. Does anyone else do that? Like, most normal people would take their glasses off and put their jumper on. But then there are some people, and I'm one of them, who just sort of goes and tries to get it over. It just doesn't work. But anyway, I just love it. I think the blocking would help with the armholes, because I didn't count the stitches that I picked up. I just picked them up. But yeah, I cannot wait to wear this. I'm going to have to hang it up at work though. That's the only thing, to be a sample when I'm not there. So it'll have to live at work. But it means I can roll my sleeves up, and yeah. So I need more long sleeved t-shirts in my life now. But yeah, because the leggings. The reason I wanted to cover my bum in leggings is not because I'm ashamed of my bum. I'm not. Quite a nice bum, I think. All things considered, when I've reached sort of middle age. But I can't believe I just said that. Am I going to leave it in? Of course I am. You're used to my nonsense. It's because I live in fear of the leggings in the wrong light being see-through and showing my pants. It's not a great look. I don't think that's a great look. And it's so hard to tell whether your leggings are going to do that to you. So I just want the comfort. And let's go and sit down again, shall we? Oh! Oops. Hello, we're on a bit of a wonk now. Oh dear, how do I fix this? With great difficulty. Is that less wonky? Oh, can you put up with the glare from my glasses, because then I can actually see? No, I'll take it off. It's going to be annoying, isn't it? I've worked out what it is, because I've always worn glasses on the podcast, but these do not have anti-glare. I didn't pay the extra. So memo to self, next time I will. But now Bobbin is toddling around and finding his feet, I spend a lot of my time crawling around the floor. I just want to be comfortable, but also to feel a bit put together. So I'm reaching for big oversized sweatshirts and big t-shirts that hang down low, and I love it. I love being comfortable, and with being comfortable comes a sense of confidence as well. So yeah, I'm really thrilled with this, and I'm really excited to look for other things. Slipovers are going to continue to be super popular this year. I'm also excited to see what happens with marling. That is continuing, and judging by some of the colours I'm seeing coming out from various producers, colour's going to be a big thing. Will it be colour work? Will it be stripes? Who knows, but we shall see. Other projects I have been working on include Robin's mittens. The first pair I made him, so this is the, oh dear, it's not going to focus, is it, on this view? I'll turn you round. I'm not doing another screen check, so hopefully you can still see me. This is the World's Simplest Mitten Pattern by Tin Can Knits. And I did him one pair in a worsted weight yarn, and they're just a bit tight on his wrists. So I'm now doing DK, and this yarn is by Susie of Elderflower Stitches. It's utterly beautiful. It's DK Mini, greys and blues. And you know how I love a blue. And the first time I did it, I thought, I followed the pattern, I was like, this isn't going to work. These are going to be way too tight. So then I went off pieced and cast on a number that I thought would work, and then they were way too big. He could almost have worn it as a hat. So what I've done is, instead of doing the rib on smaller needles as it suggests, I have picked up, and these are Knit Pro Nova Cubics. I love them. If you haven't used them, do try. There are other cubic or square needles available from other brands, I believe, but these are really good. They've got a nice point, but they're not too sharp. They don't poke holes in my fingers. Anyway, I'm just using the bigger size that's recommended for DK weight. And what I love about this pattern is that it caters for all sizes and all weights of yarn. But anyway, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's gauge or what it is. But I've just started on the bigger needles and doing the rib on the bigger needles. And hopefully that will do the trick. I think I've cast on 2 more stitches than it said, because that still does look quite narrow. I've used the long tail cast on to give a nice stretchy edge, but that's that. So I want to get these finished. I need to cast on my next pair of penny gloves for one of my other work colleagues, and I'm really excited to get them to him actually. I think he'll really like them, but he won't like them until they're done, obviously, because you can't wear skeins of yarn as mittens. I don't know, maybe you can. So yeah. So I want to get these finished, I want to get those on the needles, and I want to get Robin's William leggings finished. I'm not going to go and grab them now because that's a faff, and I'm going to show them to you next time, hopefully finished or almost finished. So I'm going to wrap this up, but first of all, I did promise you some news. Now, I treated myself. This is from Jibby Rousseau's. We'll talk about how she's undercharging for what she does another time. But I bought from her Etsy shop Peter Rabbit. I love Peter Rabbit. So I bought the Peter Rabbit. The hair didn't come with it. I have added that since. Project bag. And I couldn't really tell what the size was, but it is quite a good size. And the matching Notions pouch. And I have a plan for this. There's a very special cast on going into this. And if it works and I get it done, then as well as the project going to someone, both of these bags that I have used will go to someone. And hopefully they'll go to that person at East Anglia Yarn Festival. We shall see. If not, afterwards. It's no great shakes, but that's the plan. So it's really well made, beautiful fabric, fast postage, beautifully wrapped. And actually they come from Westcliff, which is the next town to where I grew up, so woohoo! So repping the local as well. News, Dyery news. You will have seen, hopefully, that I am going to be launching my new advent calendar for 2023. I know, don't come at me, it's only January. 11 months till Boxing Day. But I'm going to be launching it in May this year. I'm not going anywhere near as early. There will be instalments offered, but they will be fewer and slightly larger. And I will release certain numbers of pre-orders at a time because I don't want to get left with loads of undyed yarn left over and loads of boxes left over. The prices will go up because I really undercharged for the amount of time and effort it takes to make these. I did not value my labour at all. So lesson learned. I will be doing that, and they'll be coming back. I'm also going to have a 12 days box, but I'll talk more about that in the summer because that's just a smaller thing. But I'm going to be getting the dye pots out again. If you've been watching for a while, you will know that after maternity leave, when I went back to the day job, I was promoted to business manager, and I was finding it really tough working, trying to do my job to the standard I used to do it, but with a small person, being sleep deprived, and then coming home, I was then stressed about getting him into bed and having the time to work in the evenings on the midnight diary. And I thought, whoa, you've got this all wrong. You know, focus on the day job that is actually paying your wages and the bills at the moment. Hopefully the people who have been part of your journey since you were the project bag and are following and watching will still be there when you come back to the diary later. I don't want to spend my time hustling. I want to enjoy my time when I'm not working. And I want to enjoy those moments with Robin. He is so precious and he's just the sweetest little thing. I know we all think about all our children, but this kid wakes up happy. I don't think that's normal. I don't know. There are lots of things he does that are slightly peculiar. So if you watch Vlogmas, you'll have seen him happily chomping on a lime. okay, wasn't expecting that as a reaction, but there we are. So anyway, the time's now come where I'm once again reassessing, and we're making some exciting changes in our lives. Can't talk much about that at the moment, but more will come. But anyway, I'm going to be returning to the dye pots. My website online shop won't be coming back just yet. Initially, I'm going to be just fulfilling a wholesale contract with the yarn dispensary. So 30 skeins of my yarn will be landing in the next month or so at the yarn dispensary, and will also be available online. I'm going to use my merino tencel base, which I'm very excited about. And yeah, if you have any suggestions for colourways, do drop them below. So is that everything? I think so. I think so. I know I keep going on about this, but I really did enjoy Vlogmas. I can't wait to do it again next year. I'm trying to make more time for making this year, more time for rest, more time for play, more time for me in amongst everything. And I'm going down to see my aunt next week, all things being well, if I can, to help her do some sock surgery. I'm going to show her how to cut into her knitting and knit up so she doesn't have to unwind. She's knit a foot-long leg because my grandma wanted knee-high socks, basically, or really long socks. So she's knit a foot-long leg, and I said, did you do any increases for the calf? And she said, oh no, it should be fine. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit tight for grandma. So Lindsay's finished the whole sock, and she was like, oh, I'm just going to have to rip back. I was like, no, because can you imagine? She'd have to rip back the whole foot of the leg and the whole foot of the foot, which isn't a foot, it's about 7 inches, but oh my gosh, all that work. So I was like, don't do it, don't frog the sock. So I'm going to go down and show her how to cut into her knitting. I might vlog that or take some b-roll of it so that I can show you guys as well. So that's fun. She is So Sweet Samuel on YouTube. So yeah, I think that's all I can really say at the moment. I'm going to stop this now and go and get a hot drink and knit for a while, because I don't know how much longer Robin's going to nap for. And I will see you soon. Let me know how your year's started. Let me know what you're making. Let me know what colours you want to see. What are you excited about for 2023? Suggestions if you're going to join in the make along. All of those good things. It's so nice to sit and chat to you again. I have missed doing this, and I'm going to try and make more time for it as well going forward. Anyway, take care. Bye.